I'll share it. So I'm gonna get my wine. I hope someone else has wine. I think I just let someone in. Hello? Hi.
Hi. It's Gail.
Yes, nice to see you, Gail.
Sure.
So Gail, we have Sharon with us, and she's actually painting with her daughter today, and we also have April so far. What we'll probably do is, I think we can still wait a few more minutes, and then we'll get some of it started, so then people can join in, and I can bring them up to speed too. You can turn this down a little bit. Can you see okay, Gail?
Sure, I can see okay. And I didn't know if you want me to shut off the video.
I like videos because I'd like to see your faces, if that's okay. And then the other thing is, there's great benefit to seeing your work too. So if you want to show it to me or ask questions, we could do that too, right? Because I think that's part of the reason to do Zoom, right? Do you have a drink? Tea, wine, chocolate? Ingrid's coming. Hi.
Sometimes I'll fade out because yes.
Welcome. We were, there's a few of us here, so I was just saying hello to everyone. And I was saying I'll probably still give 2 more minutes, and then we might get started so we can go slowly, and I can also repeat when people come. If it's okay, Ingrid, I know you'd asked some questions earlier, so I'm going to show you some things here. Opus is a nice place to order stuff from, and you can get big containers, and they'll actually deliver it too. So if you decide that you want to get a color or large quantities of things, Opus is the place to go for that. And as I said, they will deliver it. So even though, like, I'm on an acreage, they'll come and deliver canvases too, which is also nice. Some of you have palette knives, and you can get metal ones or plastic ones, right? This is even a drywall knife. Again, they're things that you can use to create texture or cut in. Lots of different kinds. And I'm saying there's so many different kinds of brushes you can have. I do use some bigger guys just to get more on the canvas, and then also because I like sometimes the texture that they have. But I do have like a whole case of little ones too, and those are nice when you're looking for detail. And we were saying that the dollar store actually has some pretty nice soft ones that are good for blending. But in this case here, you're probably having a few big ones is nice too. I don't know. There's more people coming. Should I go through the picture that we were and the painting that we were thinking about doing?
Sure.
So this is essentially a boat, and so it's pretty straightforward. Just make the shape of the boat, and then you can put the reflection in here. In one of them, I put lots of colors, so you could have the colors of the reflection, or in this, you can make it dark. And then back here, these are supposed to be some boats, and then there's a bit of a dock, and so you can decide. I'll show you it was from a picture someone took, which is essentially kind of like that as well too, so you can really extend it down. I have another sort of idea too, because you could decide to have 2 boats if you wanted to. It's up to you. But what we're going to do, because as you can see here, when you put a color on, I don't know if you can tell from the side how you can get different bits coming through. Largely it's because you're layering some colors, and you're using that palette knife to cut through, so it gives a look of the water. And you can actually make lines this way too, so you can see the reflections this way, and then you can go this way too. And then to get some of the texture on the wood, again, you could cut through as well too. which is another way to do, get different, I think bits of perspective, but the other nice piece about it too is the light will reflect it differently. And so I think it should be pretty straightforward from that perspective. And I think anyone, you could decide to make this a green boat, an orange boat, a red boat, a purple boat, a brown boat, any color you want for the boat. You could make the water purple if you wanted to, or green, or even yellow. You could decide this is all neutral. You could do it more grays and whites. Like there's not a right way to do it. And so some people might want to make it look more realistic and therefore pick like things like, oh, good. 2 people entered the, so here I need to let them in here. Admit all. So please, I hope you can. Hi. Welcome. I don't know if can everyone see you here?
Yep. Oh, we're not late.
And I don't know, do people want to introduce themselves or do we want to just get into the painting? I feel like we've only got a bit of time, so we might paint and talk. Is that
let's paint.
Okay, so I was just going to say that essentially it's a really simple picture that we're going to do, and you can pick any color you want for the boat, and then so you just make a boat here. They say when you're making a painting, you never want it in the center. So they often talk about 2/3 almost. So in this case here, this wasn't a very perfect. I'll just put this up here. This didn't work.
Tom, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do we have access to that picture?
I can send it.
Can you send it?
I totally can. And then otherwise, this is an idea of what it would be, but I'm going to totally send it. Should I send it email or text?
Text. Email, whatever's easier. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm happy with either.
Actually, maybe it doesn't even matter. Maybe we just go by what
you
got
don't
posted.
actually do like I like looking at things closer. I put it here so people can see it too, but it might be too far away, right? And I was saying that essentially you can pick any color you want for your boat, and you can even pick any color you want for the ocean, but it could be neutral, so browns, you can keep this blues, greens, but basically there's going to be a shape of the boat. This isn't the best one though because it's in the center, right? It's okay because the layers of colors are not that, but composition wise, it's a bit boring because it's in the middle. And it's interesting, at the beginning I had it kind of farther over here and it kept moving to the center. So you do have, you're going to put your boat on, you might think about, okay, do I want to put my boat? So it's, you definitely wouldn't want it right in the middle here, but up here it's kind of off to the side. But again, it would even be nicer if it was more over here versus right in the middle here. And the reason we put it up here was it becomes very boring if it's right in the middle. Okay, so wherever you pick it, just don't put it right in the middle. I'm going to send this off to people. Do we want to talk about palettes or anything like that? Like colors, or should I let you pick your own colors and then you can ask me about that after too? It's right here. Waiting room is 1, so I need to let everyone in. Let me just say it. I'm so sorry. I hope you're here. Hello. Okay, so I'm going to send the picture to Sharon. Should it's also, I know I can probably put it up on the Instagram too, or Facebook, but is it just, I'll just go forward with the people I know to text it to them. Does that work too?
Sure. You can also email it to CWBS and I could forward it out to the people. We got an email earlier.
That'd be good. No, it's hard to think where. There it is. Okay. So I'm gonna. Now you'll note. Okay, so I'm gonna send this to CW right now. Okay. Sharon, you said it's CW.
BS,
What's that?
CWBS,
Uh-huh.
classicboats.org.
I should know this. Okay, so what I want everyone to do otherwise is, I'm just gonna make, just a second here. Send this out, yeah. Okay. Can you turn this down a bit more? Okay, do I have everyone in? I just wanna make sure we got everyone in here. I think we're good here. Okay, everyone. So what I'm going to suggest is get some color on, because that's the most fun part about it. Okay. I sent the picture to some. As you see, the original picture was actually just a red boat with white, and that's why you can pick any color you want. Often, what you could do at the start is you could draw it out if you wanted to. I like getting paint on, so I typically put, because I know I'm going to have a bunch of blue, is I actually might just go ahead and put the blue and then be able to blend it to put the boat. But for today, I think what we'll do is even using, I'll take a bit of the red color, because I'm going to make my boat red. Again, we'll say, I'll put the boat on, so you can sort of see where you might want to put it. So if we're going to put the boat here, I might want to put it about, I want to maybe not put it right in the middle. So imagine here's my skyline along here, right? Then I'm going to put a boat, maybe a boat along in here, right? And my reflection is going to come down through here, right? That could work. Now, if I wanted to do the double boat, I could put another boat in here and have the boat, or I could end up having my bits of the sailboats back there too, okay? But really what you can do is just go ahead and put it on there. And as you see here, it's really nice because you just put basically a D up like this here, in here, there you got your boat, and then straight down from it. And interestingly, then you're going to do your reflections. You actually just go up and down like this here, and you're 90% done. Then what we're going to do after we have that is we're going to add some color through here. There's no harm in having my red in here. Do you know why? Because that will come out later on and I can pull it off and I might see some red coming out from under here. Plus the red would go nicely with the blue to make it more purpley too. So there's no harm. So you're never going to have trouble if you kind of go across and you should have your plan up there. Now, I don't know the shape that everyone has. The other option is if you had actually wanted this to be lower down, I could have put this my boat here. I'm going to give you guys a few choices and then we'll go with it. Is if I put my boat down here, I actually could have had my sail up here, right? And I can have a little bit of a sail showing up here if I wanted a sailboat. And then I still could have my reflection here. If you actually want to have a white sail up here too. So you can decide what kind of boat you want. Would everyone like me to stick with the same one here so we're consistent? Or do you want to see a couple different options? I say that because an example is this was a crappy old one I had. And so on this one here, it has a lot of texture, is you put the boat on and then to work it this way. It's up to you guys. It's sort of a little bit on, if people like this one here, which is essentially this here with largely reflection, we'll do that. If some wanted to see a little bit of a sail or more of a boat, this one's not very helpful, but you could actually have a bit more of the top parts too. There's no right answer, and individuals can choose and pick what they would like to do. What I would like to do is make sure that what I do fits enough that people feel supported. How's that?
Down there.
So should I stick with more just the bottom of the boat? Or, yes. Okay, let's do that then, okay?
Practical question.
Yep.
Your painting, you've got tubes. What have you done? Have you squirted a little bit onto your palette and did you dilute it a bit or not?
So some people will actually put some on here and mix up the colors. This is putting some on here to see where I want to put my plan. if I want to blend some colors, or I know which ones I want to have. So if I think I want to have reds, oranges, pinks, I might put them all on there. And then I can take bits and mix them up here. They dry fairly quickly. So that's why you may want to have the chance to mix them up here, and you want a spray bottle to keep them moist. Otherwise, your other option is just to take your water, put some on, and like, what is it? Flick some in, because they dry quickly. You can get something called a retarder, and the retarder can actually slow it down so it's more like an oil. I'm pretty fast, and that's why often I can still get them when it's wet. But if I'm talking a lot today, it might dry, right? And then let's just make sure. Michelle. Hi, Michelle. Oh, hello. I just started. I put something on so we could get started. So let's say if I were going to do red, oranges, I could use my palette knife and put some on here. There's an orange red. I take a blob, the darker red here, and then what you can actually do is you can take bits of them and you can mix the two colors together here, right? So people do that, and then you might add a bit of white, or you could even add some yellow to decide the color you want. So that's one way you can do it, but the most important thing is to make sure you add some water so then they don't dry. If your paint brush is too wet, which sometimes mine could be, they're sitting, you'll have it drip. Mine are actually on the drier side right now because it is sitting out. So as you saw there, you can actually see the can through it. So if I don't like that, I can use my spray bottle. You see how then it starts dripping? And then I can actually, with this here, it's now wet and looser, right? And so then if I wanted to blend, let's say I'll take another color here. I'll take the bluey color. Then if I'm going to go into here and it's still wet, you can see how, because the other part has been in here and drying, you can see the red coming through here. Now, I was saying I use a palette knife, so sometimes I pull some off when I go through, and I'll actually move it around at the end of this stage. You don't have to. The other thing is when I'm looking at this, I would like the line, so I'd probably add some water to loosen that up a bit, and then I would add a lot more paint, because what I would want to do is fill this up. So I like to get color on and get it moving to get the form. And in this case here, we talked about sort of, that's my reflection, right? So I move it along and get some through here. Now, not everyone has to do that, and you don't have, like, for here, I sort of make the big strokes all the way across to sort of try and blend it, but you see how this looks a bit muddy then? If I didn't like that, I have the option to pull some off and bring it into here, right? And it takes them off. If you really didn't like it, this is another option too. I'm just showing you. See how you can pull off even more with the spray bottle? Now, the thing with this here is each time you use a spray bottle, you can have some drip effect. I like the drip effect. You could use that if I was thinking about a pond, and you could actually even decide if you wanted a drip effect here. But what I might want is it still look a little bit more, or in my case here, I was thinking about a bit more smooth this way. But you could also leave it like this here, where you've got the drip effect. Again, there's not a right or a wrong way to do that. I don't like this darker line here, so I want to get rid of it before it dries. Does everyone have some paint on?
No.
Yeah.
Get to it. Just put it on. You can't do anything wrong. So just put it on and then we'll go from there. I'd say pick a spot for your boat, and then let's get some blue on. Okay? Or you can pick your ocean not being blue. You don't have to do a blue ocean. I'm okay if you want to make it orange or green, or even leave it. In the picture, they had it actually more white, and that could be quite lovely too. So if you're going to get your colors out, you can, I'm bad, sometimes I go directly in. The other option to do is to put it on these plastic things, which I call my pallets, right? I'm adding some white, partly because I could add some gel gloss, but I just need to change this color a little bit. It's a bit too dark. I use fairly big strokes. Not everyone has to, but it's sort of to get the movement, and I have a bigger canvas too, right? Do I have some color on people's? I'm just wondering if anyone wants to talk about the subject anymore beforehand. Questions are good. I'm just gonna get color on because I like getting some color on and then going from there.
You go back and go ahead.
Yes.
Hi, Dawn. It's Michelle here. I'm sorry I logged on a little late, so I didn't get the history of the boat. Where is this? Right in the local harbor?
Well, you know what? The history of the boat is not as good as we'd like it to be honest.
Yeah.
Because this is a boat that a friend of mine loved, and so she took the picture and she's paid it a few times. It is a boat though that did get lost. So there were people that are missing because someone else is coming.
Oh.
Yeah. So
That's too bad. Yeah.
it's not common for this to occur. But it was a local boat, and so with that too, we talked about whether this could also be something that could be given to the marina too, if they wanted to have something in memory too.
Right.
But you're good. It's funny. I often just pick something, and the reason we had picked it was my friend had thought it was a good-looking boat, and I love red. So
Yeah.
you can't go wrong with a red boat. That was how we originally picked it.
Right.
I think, Michelle, what we've done is we essentially had a little scoop here, a V here, and we're happy to go orange. I just gone with red again, just partly because I had it out here. And after we had that bit of shape, this is where the shadows would go. So that's why I just pulled some of these out. Right? Come through here.
Neat. Yeah.
I want people to get some color on.
Nice.
If you did the color piece, I'm just going to show you how you can pull it down with this palette knife. And you can already start getting some direction here. You see that? And you can actually even use this way here to get some direction this way as you're going through it. I often will cut out here to my boat. I might even start doing some planning of how I might have things with the palette knife as well too, because it cuts away some of the colors. Are people putting glue on?
I'm still.
Yeah.
I'm a little.
Yeah, don't be scared. Just put it on. You can't go wrong. And so and put on lots. Pick a different color and just go with it. So I picked another lighter color and just put that in here because I can pull that through, but I just, partly because I have a bigger canvas, I'm trying to get some color on it. So technique-wise, if you want to see brush strokes, you keep it drier, okay? And then I'll show you if I've got a dry brush, what it can, technique that you can have. So I'm coming up here, and I've got it drier. You see how you can sort of we call it brushing. You can actually get some hatching through there, and you can undercoat some of these things too. You can put some up there as well too, because I know there'll be sky there later too. And see how I'm kind of going everywhere? Because I don't really care. And I don't really care because this is going to actually give me some undertones as well too, right?
Right here.
Are people getting some colors on?
Are you using the same brush for your reds as for your blues?
No,
Two brushes.
sometimes I do that. They still get quite dirty. Currently I have about 10 brushes on the ground and I'll probably randomly pick up a bunch of them. The other option is you put them in your water
Yes.
and then you would wash them. That's why you have one that's a clean water and then you would have a dirty water. And then that's why you need paper towels or rags, because then you would dry them off in between. Sometimes I'll just grab a few of them. I'm quite bad actually sometimes just cleaning up too. So that's the end part too. When you have a bunch that you have to clean up, that's the downside when you have too many, right?
Wow, nice chicken.
When I look at this here, I think I could start putting some golds or yellows in here and then pull off if I want to later too. But I kind of want to sort of give people a chance to come and, so this is my big knife here and how I can pull off some here and one here too. And you see, sometimes I usually pull it off like aggressively like that. This was a bit too, not thinking that through. I'm gonna add some more color in here. So what I did here, if I'm picking a color, is I was sort of putting it the bright part of color on top of my other color and pulling off from it. So if I went this way, I'd be bringing this, making it more muddy. By going this way, I am pulling some of that off here, but I'm also able to keep some of the color green. And then I try different strokes there to sort of get a different sense of movement, I guess would be a way to describe it. It's interesting because I'll probably have to stand back to see where I'm at with this too, but I'm just gonna put some on here so you see. And I'm just getting my sense of where my boat's gonna be, right? I want to see where people are at right now and whether I should. You see how then I'll get this thing out again too? And I play around and I take some off if I'm not sure I like where it has something, or if I want to change. And I sometimes even will start cutting in too, a little bit to get different lines and textures to it. I was saying to one of my friends, is one of the nice things is when you do that, you can pull off bits of color and then you can actually bring them up someplace else, right? Actually I don't even have enough paint on my brush today to do this nice, but you can actually bring it up into other spots, which allows you to get the color in different spots. That is too heavy. So I'm just going to take some off. Okay. So what color, should I make the boat, put some other colors in the boat? What colors have we picked? Sometimes what I'll do too, which is kind of weird, is if I have one color, I'll think about symmetry, or, okay, if I'm doing abstract, I'll probably need red someplace else. So there might be some reds or orange down in this part here. I also ran out of blue there, but otherwise I might have that, or more purples in here to tie it in from here. And that's because you sometimes want to randomly have colors in different spots. It usually works out in nature that way as well too, but you'll often find if you just have one color here but not any place else, it doesn't quite flow as nicely. So an example is in this one here, if I had some green here, I'll put some green down in here as well too. I've got some color on. Yeah. So I'll grab one of my crappy old brushes here. Sort of dry. And because it's a bit dry, I can actually create a bit of texture if I wanted to cut through like this here. So I can see bits of colors that stay or just a here. You see how that comes through? And I'll bring it up. Can you see how, if I do that here, I can sort of see, I can get. So again, there's different ways you can use your brush. I'm going to show you if we make it more, I think you saw when it was more loose too, right? But I just put that on to show you how that might go. So I'll just blend that a bit. Okay. Okay, so if we were going to do the boat, the key thing with the boat here is the shape of the boat that we have, which everyone can see. It's essentially just going to be like this here. And what you can do is there's going to be some lines on the boat. I actually should make sure everyone's got their boat. Does everyone have a boat and an ocean yet? Okay. So if you have a boat and an ocean, you can actually, with your palette knife, you can actually put 3 or 4 lines in here. You can actually do that. You can cut in to get lines, which would then be these ridges here along, and you can actually cut in alongside here, right? So you could do that. Some people would do it, you can actually, I'll show you this too. Is you can, I'm already a mess maker here, sorry guys. Is if you have it on here, you could actually go like this. And then you can actually almost like outline it. Like this here. And that's how you can often get, you know, the nice grass or the lines. Like if I'm going to do my boats later on, that's how I'll do my boats, is I would go this way and just cut in like this. And I make the little, you know, crosses along there. This one here, if you did that, you can actually pull some down too, and so you can get some nice rich color and some highlights that way. I often then would switch my lines this way as well too, so that I've got a couple different, I call them ways for your eyes to go. But the thing is, because we're layering, it doesn't have to look that perfect right now, right? And so you can actually like play around. You can say, I think I want to have a bit of color this direction, or I want to have it this way, and just have fun with it. You don't have to. I feel like I need another color in there already. Does anyone else want more color? Like there's too much orange in here right now. Orange and red. So I feel like I can put some more purples in, or I can do some other. How are we doing?
Get there.
Are we getting there?
I'm not sure what mine looks like, but it's fun.
And the thing with acrylics is they dry fast, so you don't have to worry about causing any harm with that. You can put on, like this is bold color, right? And if you don't want to have that much bold color, you can add some white. You can add, you can even add some black or gray to it to sort of make it less vibrant. Other options can include, you can cut in. How I'm cutting in here. See how the blue, and I'm just doing it dry, so then you get bits coming through. So and then the other thing is, if you've got this vivid color and you're not sure that you like it to, as I said, I made a mess, right? Is I pick different brush strokes, so I might go this way a bit, then I'll cut this way a bit. It sort of gives different looks too. I would say that when you sort of play a little this way. Now, some people will do things like this too, and those are where you can actually, and if you wanted to have it a bit more blended, you can do it this way. We actually whack in it, which is can work really nice in those flower ones. You can still do this in here too. Some people get their fingers in there as well too. As I said, one of the nice things about these knives is you can already start putting some direction in. I have red on this one here, so I'll have to clean it all off. So I just have to clean. But like I would actually start putting lines through here. And you see when I come through with the lines, I can already start getting some sense of the water coming through. Just kind of make this there. there's funny things where I'll just pick different directions just because I want to. I've made a little bit of a mess here, though, so I made it. So if we were going to decide on our subject here, and I wanted to have, we have an option where we can do a bit more on our boat, or we can work on our ocean a bit more. And that might be where, because I had all these reds and oranges, I was going back up here. But if you're going to do your ocean, we could start getting some other colors of blue in, which could include adding white, some yellows. You could add, which would be the greens, or you can add some more of the pinks to get the purples in there too. And with that, I tend to just start putting some in. And I'd like to say I'm very thoughtful with this, but it's sort of how it feels. So some days I feel like I want a certain color and it doesn't matter, I just put it in. Other days I have a better, I don't know, I think it's how it feels for color in your mood to some degree, but are we gonna do some more on the ocean?
Yes.
Okay, let's keep going with the ocean for a little bit more than two. If I'm gonna try, I just put some white on here just because I had some. But let's say I'm gonna put some along here. As I said, I know with everything I do, I can always edit it later. You can't really do wrong. You're gonna have strokes that go up and down this way, because now this reflection this way, if I've got boats this way, might be going this way, right? So again, there's different ways that you can put the strokes. I like getting lots of color on and then I start playing. Mine is quite big, so I'm gonna need a bit more color than you guys have. That being said, so quiet.
We're having a great time, Dominique. We're just trying our hardest to keep up.
You don't have to keep up though. But the thing is, if you guys have questions, please just say them here. I'm just gonna put some color on here. And see this here, I've got some sort of the red coming through, but I actually don't mind that either. I'm too close to know whether that's bad or good, but currently I don't mind it, so I might just leave it, right? If I were gonna try and work a little bit more on my shadows, I'm gonna start putting some lines that come through here and bring them down this way. I want some green in there. So yellow and blue make green, or you grab some green too. If I were going to be crazy, I could just add some bright color in there, right? We don't know what that's going to turn out like, but there's zero harm to it. Did that scare anyone?
Yes.
But you can't go wrong.
I like it.
No, but you can't go wrong. And you can always paint over it, and you can pull some off.
Oh, I should do some green. Yeah.
And so with that here, because I cut in, do you see how I have these scrape marks? If I lightly go over it with this here, I might get some of the yellow, the green through there. And then even with something like this here, see, I can pull some off. See, I was pulling that off. Then I can actually put some of this in here if I want some other lines. Although this is a bit dry here. see how when I cut through, how you can get other bits of color coming through too? I'm cutting through there, not the best way that one, but anyways. I'm not. I didn't like that, so if I don't like something, it can go. Wipe it off, pull it off, gone. It's kind of satisfying sometimes if you're not sure you like something, is you just pull it off. Gives you freedom to know that you can't really go wrong. Just want to soften that up, it's too harsh. That was a bit harsh, so I'm just going to blend that out and then put some color on.
Hello, what's up?
She's hungry.
Okay, I feel like I almost need to see what other people are doing soon, because I think that's the difference between a real, not a real, but like a live Zoom versus this kind, because I won't know where you guys are at, and I might just keep going. Does anyone else have music on? I don't know if you guys can tell, I just love getting color on. So it doesn't really matter. And then I play around with the color afterwards to see where I'm going to go with it, right?
I'm just fascinated by the process, Dawn. It's pretty amazing.
And then it's this chaotic. But it's interesting because right now I could sort of leave this here and then I could end up putting some trees and things back in here if I decide I want it to be more, or I leave it how it is too. I'm going to put some down here. I'm thinking of going to pass them through here. This is again a big colorful one. So I'll make that. I just don't know if people can see how when I cut through, how you can see it almost looks like there's texture. Do you notice that?
When you say cut through, do you mean you're removing the top layer so you can see the layer underneath?
Yes. Or I add a thick part. You see that?
Yes.
And so with that, if you look at it at the side, see how you can see?
Oh.
It's already, will take light differently.
Mm.
That's a bit weird. But it does take differently, which makes it kind of neat sometimes. But the other thing is then when you put the other paint on, it'll take the paint differently. See how when I pull that off, I can get another look here too? I say about pulling off because sometimes I put it on and, like that one. I don't know why, because I didn't clean it off properly, but that's fine. Hey, Jim, come on in. You want to come in? My artist came home. She just came back from, are you on your own? There's some apples over there if you want to. Are you coming to join? Gemma, there's lovely people here, most of whom I'm sure you know.
Hi, Gemma.
Gemma actually has art
Ciao, Gary.
on Friday evenings. So one of her lovely friends was able to bring her back, which is so nice.
Nice.
Sweetie? I can't come, so come across with her. Okay, no, she's not. Okay. Everyone's sort of seeing how I'm playing around. Am I going too quick with how the playing around occurs?
Are you doing that scraping with your big plastering solid things? It's not a brush, eh?
No, it's not a brush, but I can use it with the smaller, this one, like the skinny one, which I gave you too, right?
Yes.
So with these, and as I said, you can just cut through and you can put, this one has to be wet. Actually, I need to, so if I needed it wet, I'd put over my, and I'd spray. If I do this, I'll hit you guys, so I have to bend over for it, but you can actually just spray over it and it makes it looser. See how I can get a nice line that way? And I actually will often put some nice lines through things because the assumption is that we're gonna have some sailboats through there too, or there's a bit of trees or, you know, so you can actually start putting some lines through there even if you wanted to. And you can't really go wrong. It could get a bit boring because right now I don't have enough colors, let's say, but I can add some more later, right? Did anyone else get crazy and add another color?
Hi, honey. Do you want to see the art class?
Yes, I'd say yes. Yeah. I'm pretty soon gonna ask people to show me what they got too. I didn't like what I just did there, so I'm just now gonna have to edit it. But oh well. I don't know if you guys have seen already, there's been a few things I've done I haven't loved, but that's okay. Because I can just take some off or play with it. Let's see where Jenna goes. Okay. Does anyone want to show what they're putting up or what they're doing yet? Or?
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna. I'd love if you will. Do you know how to pin it? Or maybe if we unmute, we can hear people. Would that make it bigger? Perfect. Now, what I see there, which is totally beautiful, is, and this is probably what I have too, is I just have this line here. So what I noticed with that is we probably need more reflection coming through here and here. So some of the colors that you have up here, you can pull down through here. And you have an option of doing it, we could do it with paint or black, or you could actually have, if you wanted to, I like this song a lot actually. You can actually do your red. Let's say I want to have my red reflection, and I just kind of can bring it along through here. And it's just gently pulling color through there too. You don't have to pick that. You could pick orange. You could pick the darker color if you wanted to. I think I have too much glare myself. I can't tell what I'm doing.
Sweet, that's awesome. Thank you. My camera's a little wonky.
So mine is bright right now, so I might have to add some other neutral colors in at some point, but I like bright too, so we'll see. I need to play with that over there too. Okay, it's going in the water for a bit. I'm again going to put some lines through here, like this, that are scooping this direction because my boat has a shape at the bottom. And those will be then later on the reflections that come through too, right? So then this is why this is so simple, is because largely what you do is then you get a chance to sort of play with color, light. I can see how it's asymmetric. I might have to stand back, which means I'm not in your hair, because when I'm looking at it, it's a little lopsided. That being said, it's hard because usually I'd stand, you should stand back. Actually, we should stop for a moment, have a drink or something, and stand back. Because when you stand back, you often see, totally crooked, or in this case here, I see some asymmetry, some other things that I'm not loving. I also feel like it's a bit one-dimensional. But I'm gonna bring up some, thank you for coming. I wanna make sure, hi. We had someone else coming in as well too. I think it says Wendy. Okay. I don't drink wine very often right now. So if I come up here, I'm gonna bring it closer. So if you look at this corner bit, it's actually quite fun with the way the colors come off. So even though it's kind of doesn't make sense, there's parts of it that I quite like. And do you see how it reflects differently? So it's not very flat anymore. And then can you see from the top how it can look different? Look at me, I want everyone to like move theirs along. But the nice part about it, again, is you can see bits of color coming through. I don't know if you guys can see this nicely. I'd like to see with yours too. Again, that some of that is putting on color and then cutting through or layering. I'm getting close. I'm gonna add some more color to mine. I feel like I wanna add some, maybe even some golden colors and things in here, and maybe even, this one is a Payne's Gray, which is a nice one. It's kind of a little, I actually like parts of it, but then other parts I'm not happy with yet, but I'll get there. Does anyone have something that they want to pull up, and then we'll sort of look at what they have and talk about what we could add or do to that? I want to add some, I know.
Yes.
Price is cool.
My boat is too different from my ocean. It's like,
Why is it too, what's wrong with that?
it looks
So
like
put that up again. Can you put it back up again? So you said it's too different. What do you mean by that?
well, you have more colors of one thing appearing in the other part, or something like that. Where it's like I seem to have this great separation between the boat and the water.
So there's two things. You can love it and keep it that way, because that still is a style, because you can have really nice clean lines through something. Or you could actually decide that you want to bring some in. And ways people can bring it in is just randomly afterwards, like what I did here, is I just took some color and put it down in here. Other times people will say, well, I've got red here and I want to see it someplace else. So they'll put it off here.
Yeah.
They'll put it up here, like, because basically you want some balance. And even when I see this here, I don't see balance yet, because I see some green here, but I need some bright bit. I think a little bit more like here to make it more interesting. And sometimes I screw it up. So sometimes I'll put in something like this here. I'll be like, oh, I want a dark color. And then it'll be way too dark and I have to pull it off and play with it.
You can't scrape it once it dries, right?
You can, you absolutely can. What you use is a spray bottle then, and you can still pull it off.
Spray on the canvas.
Yep, you cannot do, like, the beautiful thing with this is you can't do wrong.
Yeah.
Like, you really can't. There's nothing. I think the only thing you could do is some people layer it so much, they put every color on, and it becomes brown. So the thing is, if you try and mix all your colors together, you can get yucky colors. But if you're, even right now, I'm putting colors on, but if I'm light with one, like a light soft stroke, and then another one's a hard one, you're gonna have bits of color coming through. But it's when you blend them all together. So the important thing is pick different ways of moving your brush. And that's the fun part about painting is, if one stroke is big, then you can do some other little stroke. And if you go hard one time and then light the next time, bits of color will come out differently again too, right? So if I looked at this here, there's you could decide I want to be realistic, and there was actually some white up there and it's hanging over here, right? And then there's like some ball, and throw in a ball if you want. I think those are the boys or whatever there, and you can actually like randomly just put them in. And later on, what can happen is you can add some more detail to those, or you can leave them as is, as being quite abstract, and just leave that too, right? There's not a right or wrong way, and some of it is how you feel, like your mood when you're doing it. And I say that because it often looks quite lovely regardless of what you do. Now with that, I didn't like the line of it, so I'm moving it through. Do you see how this is very light? And I didn't actually blend it. Just be careful not to like try and make everything blend. It works if you want to be really realistic, but again, there's a risk with acrylics because they dry so fast that if you want that look, you almost are better off getting a retarder and treating it like an oil. Otherwise, with the acrylics, as I said, some of it is the different strokes, right? That you can pull through and get some different bits of texture. You see how this one I'm just kind of cutting, I call it hatchetings because it's dry. And I'll kind of do a little bit this way. And one was heavy with a lot of color and then white, and then you're having a bit of light through it. And then if I were going to try and have some reflection here, I'd be okay to pull some down. If I want to have some reflection in here. And then if, let's say I didn't love that, let's say I'm not loving that, I can always have fun with that. And because I have so many propellant knives, I could actually cut my line through here. See this? Now I've got a nice horizon again. And I can actually pull some down here and make it a little bit more interesting. Hi, Jim. Gemma, do you want some apples? I think my daughter might be hungry too. I'll have to see. See how I'm cutting through because there's too much white. And I'm gonna cut this way. I still need to get that other color I talked about, getting in another color. And I might actually just get some definition in through here. And you can actually even like, let's say I wanted that to be a boy, I can actually do a little circle if I want to with that too, right? And the only reason why I like these so much is the next time when I put color on, because I put grooves in, bits of paint will stay on and others in some spots, not others. Does that make sense? Okay, let me get another color in here. I need to spray this. It's not good enough. So with this here, I could have used Payne's Gray. Otherwise, I picked this sort of turquoisey color, but it's actually dripping too much. So I'm not happy with that either. We're good. I don't love it, so then I'm going to keep playing with it till I like it. I just add some in here. And it's too heavy, so I'm going to have to blend it in. I hear some good sounds there. Sounds like me.
I think it's me, Dawn. Jackie.
I was like, because my cutting through, you can always hear me, huh?
You're so aggressive.
I think I might be. really fun though. It's one way to get it out, right?
Yeah.
But then here I have the lines this way, so then I'm gonna move them this way a little bit too, right? I'll have to see. I don't actually mind that color, so I'll just sort of move it through a little bit. So then how do you choose your colors? Some people actually will have an idea what they want at the beginning, and they might look at a subject and say, I want to keep it very neutral, and they might pick, I would say, colors almost from the same part of a color tree. Other times, in this case here, I like things that are more bold. So sometimes I might put my blues next to my oranges because I want it to like pop out. And again, some part of getting is deciding where you want things to pop out. And I call it the mood that you're in. Because if you're actually feeling like being bright, just put bright on that and you'll like it, right? And it'll work out nicely. The idea of knowing the colors, it is one of those things where sometimes you'll put a color on and you'll say, I don't love that. I wish I hadn't put it on, but I do feel like that process too, you often learn that no, that those colors don't fit very nicely. Like for example, I have a cadmium orange, I think it is, and it's too opaque almost and flat color. It doesn't have enough pigment to it. So when I put it on, it's almost like milky, and it doesn't have the richness. So it's not the right color for me to put, let's say, with a Lisbon crimson or a particular color that has richness in it. But you could practice on a color wheel, all the different colors, and see how they blend together, or you can just put them on and play with them and enjoy them, right? This here I'm actually sort of squishing with my brush. Do you see how I'm doing that? That destroys them. That's the part where I might do a little bit of blending or mixing the colors a little bit in there. That is why these crappy brushes are often nice too. But so I do have a lot of different strokes that I use. Okay, I'm talking a lot. So because this is so simple, it might be hard to sort of, I guess where I'm usually at is what do people want to add and how they want to work through it. We can talk a little bit about if you wanted to have more reflections here. I showed you how you can cut through this way. The other thing is to have some lines this direction too, and you can use it with white, or you could use it with a lighter blue, or you could pick a green, purple, and you can get some lines this direction. And as I said, the other option can always be is having it this way, or doing it this way, but you can also choose with your, I don't even have a clean. You can actually put lines this way just by cutting through like that. And that's another way you can get reflections in the water, is just to cut up and down like that. So it's sort of fun too. I want some more other colors. So how I'm making the boat, by the way, is the boat basically has a mast, it's got a railing, and you could be very detailed if you wanted to. So we could go through this here, but because I'm a bit on the abstract side. So if we went up here, you can see how there's probably a bit of a sail here, and then there's railing here, and there's some buoys hanging off there. There's bits of color. So with that, you can be really simple and just put a line this way, a line this way, a line this way, and you can get that same effect. Back here for these sailboats, you can put basically vertical, 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 and then a few on angles, and there you've got your sails, right? And then you can cut through this way a few times, and then you're going to have I guess, parts of the boats too. So that's one way that you can get there. The dock part, again, it's got line, and then you go up and down with lines through here too. So this is quite easy for getting the different lines. Or it could be fun. I'll show you again with this one, and then I might have a moment to sort of check in with you guys. I'm really messy. Jackie, I feel like yelling at my darling daughter. Any parents that are here. She should come over here and let me give her food. So this one here, as you can see, how heavy some of the lines are too. And again, I had sort of pretended to put the boys into, but a lot of it was just playing around and adding bits of color. I think this worked out pretty nicely because in here there's the yellow or the greens with the blues, but you can also see some reds through here too. So that's the nice part about knowing you're putting lots of colors in, there's no harm. It just adds a bit more depth to it. I'm gonna have a quick little, finding some other colors in this. Does everyone else want more color? I'm almost like, I want more. I have to stand back just a touch because I can see I'm not happy with, I should say I'm not happy, but it is definitely needs a little bit of something. So I feel like, do I put in purple? What color have I? So I say purple, but I have purples in here because I have the reds and blues already, right? And I have the green because I put some green in, but I've got different shades of green because this blue came through. So maybe I'll add a bit more yellow. Sort of what you feel like. Does everyone have enough colors? Is that possible? Okay. This may not be as organized. So, because I'm letting you guys pick the colors you want. Do we want to work more on down here, on up here? Give me an area. Or you don't have to, you can just keep playing.
The dock on the right.
Okay, let's gonna say we're gonna work on the dock on the right. If I were thinking I'm gonna have a dock here, I might just say, okay, let me just go ahead and I'll put part of the dock, right? I've got it coming along here. It maybe not quite that angle, so maybe I decide I don't like that angle and I change it. And then I wanna have some of the pier, so I might actually just throw one in here and throw one in here. And with that here, there might be reflection, so I can pull some this direction, right? Bring it along here. Is that still in the water, right? There might be some in here.